Hi, how are you guys? Have you guys been here before? You have not. Okay, well, let's just start with just a very brief introduction to how glass blowing works. Everything that we do here starts out in our glass furnaces. The glass furnaces are the machines where you see the doors closed. There's two of them, one on each side of the studio. If you look up on the big screen, you'll see a diagram. That's what they look like inside. So in each of the furnaces is a big ceramic pot. In that ceramic pot is 1,000 pounds of melted glass. We keep the melted glass at 2,100 degrees Fahrenheit, and at that temperature, the glass has the consistency of honey. So if you can imagine a giant crock pot full of honey, that's what our furnace is like. When we want to get the glass out to make stuff, we take one of these steel pipes and we dip them into the melted glass like you're dipping into a big jar of honey. We dip them in, twirl them around. A little bit of glass sticks to the end of the pipe. The pipe is hollow, so when you blow, the ball of glass blows up like a balloon. If you want to make something larger, we dip it in, blow a bubble, let it harden. Then we dip it in a second time or a third time. And we just keep building up the glass in layers. Once we get the glass out of the furnace, it only stays soft for a little while. So we do whatever shaping we can while it's hot and soft. And when it starts to cool and stiffen, we go to the second type of furnace, and that's called the glory hole. The glory holes are the round furnaces with the doors open. They have no glass in them. They're just for heating and softening the glass while we're working. So today we're going to be making these decanters that you see here. And we're going to blow them into a wooden mold. If you see that little rolling cart just to the right of center, the molds are made out of wood. They have to be kept wet so they don't burn when we blow into them. So right now, Gabe, sitting at the bench, is preparing the bubble for the decanter mold. So now, to the left, Gabe is dripping off some excess glass into that steel can. We'll save that excess glass, and that'll eventually go back in the furnace. So in the center, Gabe is shaping the glass with a tool called the block. The tool is made out of wood. It's stored in a bucket of water. As long as the wood is wet, the tool doesn't burn, and it doesn't leave any marks as he shapes the glass. You notice that one of the glass blowers is seated to the left of the workbench. He's the person that's blowing. He blows through that steel tube and inflates the glass while the man sitting at the bench shapes it. So to the right of center, we've just pulled out the wooden mold. We'll drop the bubble into the mold, blow, and turn. And what you see is steam coming out of the mold because the mold is wet. Do you have any questions? Yes. Well, the colors, we buy colored glass from various companies in Germany. And we want to make a colored object. We blow a bubble of clear glass from the furnace. We heat up a chunk of the colored glass, and then we coat that initial bubble with red glass or blue glass or green glass. The seahorses for the goblets are made by hand, just skill, no molds. No molds, it's just pure skill. So over on the left side of the studio, we're going to start the bubble for the decanter. Nick, the man with the shaved head, is getting some clear glass out of the furnace. He's going to blow a small bubble of the clear glass, and then we're going to coat it with the blue glass. Ben, the tall guy on the left, is heating up a bar of the blue glass. We're going to use that to coat the bubble that Nick is making. All the colors that you see while we're working are going to be distorted by the heat. That orangey color you see on the bubble now is just the glow from the heat, not the color of the glass. So Nick, sitting down at the bench on the left, has a little bubble of clear glass. Ben, standing up, is heating up a piece of blue glass, and we're going to coat that clear bubble with the blue glass. Once again, it looks orange. The orange color you're seeing is the glow from the heat, not the color of the glass. But when that cools off, it'll be blue just like that. This is called a color overlay. Nick, sitting down, is preparing the color. He's going to squeeze off the section or the amount of the blue that he wants. We heat that up again, and we're going to drop the blue glass onto the clear bubble. Does anybody have any questions? So we drop a blob of that blue glass onto the clear bubble, and then Nick's going to roll that back until it entirely coats the original bubble. Every once in a while, these steel pipes get hot. When they do get hot, we take them over to that trough. That's called the pipe cooler. We just spray water on the metal pipe. That cools it down and makes it easier to hold. So Nick's coating his bubble. Behind that door is a big ceramic tank. In that ceramic tank is 1,000 pounds of melted glass. So we'll be starting these decanters on this bench on the left, and we'll be finishing them in the center bench. The tool in Nick's hand is called the block. It's made out of wood. It's stored in a bucket of water. As long as the wood is wet, the tool doesn't burn, and it doesn't leave any marks as he shapes the glass. Do you guys have any questions? Okay. So we're going to be making that blue decanter. You see? So now to the left, Gabe in the black hat is dipping his bubble into our big furnace. Behind that door, there's a big ceramic tank. In that ceramic tank is 1,000 pounds of melted glass. We keep the melted glass at 2,100 degrees Fahrenheit. And at that temperature, the glass has the consistency of honey. So that bubble that Gabe is working at the center, that's the same blue that you see here. The orange color that you're seeing is the glow from the heat, not the color of the glass. Do you guys have any questions? Okay.
We're watching Blown Away with her.
Uh-huh, cool.
She turned us on to it, and she's already watched how many seasons? She's watched all of them.
Okay.
She's got
Well, maybe this guy here, Ben, he was on Blown Away as a guest judge.
as a judge.
Ben is it's Ben Cobb. He's the head of our glass shop here, and they brought him in for one episode to give the contestants a problem and judge the results. So when we blow into a mold, we sort of make the shape similar to the final shape before we put it in the mold. So Gabe is making a narrow neck on that bubble. The mold for the decanter is sitting in front of those metal stairs. We close the mold around, and then Gabe blows and turns the bubble at the same time. The mold is wet, and the smoke you see is steam. So now we have the basic shape, and we're going to add these drip style decorations. You can see as the glass cools, that orange glow disappears, and you're starting to see more of the true color of the glass. Now we're going to add the drip decorations. Bring some molten glass to Gabe. He drips it on. And he takes a torch and melts the end there to make sure it's nice and smooth. Each time we add a little dollop of molten glass to the main piece, we call it a bit. We say that Ben is bringing a bit to Gabe. B-I-T. Do you guys have any questions? Clear. 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 C-L-E-A-R. Nope. It's just clear. You're going to see, watch them now. You're just going direct from the furnace. All the glass in that furnace is clear. Oh, that's a different thing. These guys, this is our try it sessions where you get to try glass blowing. And there are some young artists from the Hilltop Artist Program that are walking our visitors through making a simple object. And they're rolling, they're using crushed colored glass called frit to decorate it because it's sort of quick and easy. So we do this trial thing by appointment. You can sign up at the front desk if you want to try it. Now Gabe is forming the base on our decanter. It's just solid glass. Once we get that base shaped up, we're going to transfer the decanter from the rod it's on now, the blowpipe, to a second steel rod called the punty, P-U-N-T-Y. The punty will hold the decanter from the bottom while we shape the top. So here comes Ben with the punty. I think it comes from the French pontil, which means bridge. We use the English spelling P-U-N-T-Y, but the French spell it P-O-N-T-I-L. So now the decanter is held from the bottom, the top is exposed, the top can now be heated and shaped. We have two ways in which we heat up the glass. Sometimes we heat it up in the big round oven, the glory hole. Sometimes we heat it up with torches. When we heat it up with the torches, we can focus the heat in a particular place, make that part of the glass hot and soft, and we can shape that part without disturbing the rest of the object. So we're going to shape the top. So Gabe torched the neck of the decanter, so it'll be a little extra hot and soft, and we can shape that without disturbing the body. You can see that the neck of the decanter is glowing. It's because that's hotter than the rest of it. It's always a little thick up there, so we're taking those crimps and stretching it out to thin it. Then we'll bust off that funky part. We'll trim away that extra thick glass. Now Gabe will widen the neck using a tool called the jacks, pressing against the inside of that opening. want to make a little flange at the top of that neck. So Gabe is putting some extra heat on the top where we're going to shape it. We're holding a wooden paddle across the top. Make sure it's nice and flat and straight. And with a little QC there. He's going to put some water on it, bust it open to see how the thicknesses are. So they made this first one to figure this out, how much glass they need for each of the different parts. And that's why he busted it open so he could see the thicknesses.
Is there almost always a trial?
It depends. We're going to make.
That's why I broke down on this very first one I ever made. So just make sure I have the right color, right density, right thickness. So it's a weird mold to blow. Blow a lot of mold.
Fascinating wash.
What's that?
Fascinating wash.
It's fun to do. You should try it. You can.
No, I try not to take up hobbies that burn me to a crisp. All right?
I said everybody needs more hobbies, right?
Yeah.
No, I don't need any more. I got a 2-year-old.
But the first time I was in here, it amazed me how little PPE you wear.
How what?
How little PPE you wear.
Closed-toe shoes and glasses. That's all you really need.
Yeah,
I mean,
and
when we're making
of
the big
course the
stuff,
gloves.
sometimes you put a
Yes.
sleeve on, we put batting, put gloves on sometimes.
This thing, do hot glass ever splash on you?
If you get burned, it's usually from ashes from your newspaper or a tool. You touch a hot tool. Yeah, you don't usually get burned by glass. It's been so long since I burned my glass. Yeah, it's usually the ashes on the newspaper will burn you the most. Yeah. They float up and they land on your harness. These little red, like that red dot, that's a
Yeah,
newspaper.
that's what I was referring to.
Yeah.
We'll be starting these decanters on the bench on the left, and we'll be finishing them in the center. Well, when we're making a lot of things, as he's finishing this one, he can start the next one there, and it just makes the thing a little bit more efficient. We can only reuse our clear waste. We don't have a good way of reusing our colored waste because the furnaces where we melt the glass is all clear glass, and we can't throw bits of red and blue and green in there. But we can save the clear waste, and that can go back in the furnace eventually. gets tossed. I could lie to you, but it just goes in the garbage.
Separate killing for each one.
That blob of glass is on there now. That will be the size of the decanter. I mean, that'll be expanded to the
Yeah,
decanter.
well,
They need more.
he's making a little clear bubble, and then we're gonna coat it with the blue, and then we're gonna dip it again, more glass, and then blow it up.
The
To
blue
the,
is more surface.
yes, it's just
Okay, I thought it was blue all the way.
it's called a color overlay. Can we show the color overlay video? We have a little video that explains it.
The color in glass comes from adding various materials to the mixture of raw ingredients called batch. Most of the colorants are compounds containing some kind of metal. For example, adding cobalt to clear glass creates a deep blue. Tin and antimony can be used to create white glass, and gold chloride can produce a rich red or pink colored glass. Colored glass is melted in furnaces, just like clear glass, and then is usually rolled into bars for storage and easy application. In order to apply color bar to a bubble, we first need to preheat the color to approximately 950 or 1000 degrees Fahrenheit in a color oven or garage. Once warm, the color is then picked up on the end of a punty rod using a little bit of clear glass as a support. The color is then heated in the 2300 degree glory hole to soften it and make it malleable, while another artist creates a small bubble of clear glass on a blowpipe. Once warm, the color is dropped over the clear bubble, and then using a variety of hand tools or the steel marver, the color is rolled back over the clear in an even layer. This process is called dropping color, or creating a color overlay. Depending on the project, that bubble is then usually gathered over with clear glass and blown into the final form. The finished product may appear to be all made from colored glass, but when viewed in cross-section, we can see that there is only a thin layer of color sandwiched between many layers of clear glass.
So the reason that we color the glass in that manner is so that we can have any color we want, anytime we want. If we were to fill the furnace with blue glass, we could only make blue things. If we coat each bubble individually, we can make a red thing, a green thing, a blue thing, whenever we want.
We took some friends here last year, and the lady, my friend, she was always cold. She said this was the first time she'd been warm since she got here.
Get a little music going.
Yeah. Oh, there you go.
I'm going to hold on
to it, okay.
Our last one got broke.
Ah.
So it looks orange, but really,
Yes. Yeah, I see that. That's neat.
us to have any color at any time.
So how much glass is in the big?
In the furnaces, each furnace holds 1,000 pounds. 1,000 pounds is not as much as you think because glass is quite heavy. Glass weighs 2.5 times as much as water. So if you had a block of glass that was 3 feet long, 2 feet wide, and 1 foot thick, that would weigh 1,000 pounds. Yes.
What is the reason that you use the clear glass to start as opposed to just holding the colored glass?
Okay. We haven't made this mold before, so when we want to try something out, we do it in clear, and then once we got it figured out, then we coat it with the color. So it's just quicker and easier to start the test with clear, and then once we
Is that what normally happens with most?
okay, this the way we do it here is the way we do it in like kind of craft shops and artist shops. In a big factory, where you're going to make 1,000 decanters, then you fill a furnace with 1,000 pounds of blue, and you just blow straight out of it. So we've blown into the wooden mold to get the general shape, and then we're going to add the decorations. If you just came in, we're making this decanter that you see here. So now we're going to add these drip decorations. Each time one of the assistants brings some glass to the main glass blower. It's called bringing a bit, B-I-T. So these guys are going to bring a bit to Gabe. Gabe's going to drip it on. Hi, how are you guys? Good. Do you guys have any questions? Oh, good. Well, if you think of some, everything that we make has to be cooled slowly overnight, so that anything that's out here had to be made at least a day ago. He doesn't come here at all. No, he was involved in the original planning for this, but he's got his own shop in Seattle, and yeah. Uh huh. Okay. Oh, there you go. When you mean in Seattle or in here? In Tacoma, right? Okay. The Jet building, was it the I don't know. Was that the Jet building? Sure. Oh, good. Yeah. Yeah. So now to the left, Ben, tall guy in the black shirt, is getting the glass for the base. He's going to heat it up, and we're going to drop it on from above.
Just the TS1 is now on the tide flats, so everything's condensed. It built the building across the way. It's fucking huge. That's where all his collections and shit are housed, and all of everything comes down here and gets photographed. Yeah, everything gets shipped from down here. But yeah, he did have like four or five different warehouses just up the street.
So now we're going to transfer the decanter from the rod it's on now, the blowpipe, to a second steel rod called the punty. The second steel rod will hold it from the bottom while we shape the top. Over on the left, Ben is preparing the punty, P-U-N-T-Y. So Ben's going to bring the punty to Gabe. Gabe is the man sitting down. Ben is the man standing up. He attaches the punty to the base of the decanter. When they feel that bond is strong enough, they'll break the glass away from the original pipe. We'll drip a little water where we want it to break, give the pipe a tap, and off it comes. So now the decanter's held from the bottom, the top is exposed, the top can now be heated and shaped. Does anybody have any questions? Yeah.
What's that thing next to him?
The thing
Like,
next to
right
him.
there? It looks like a little like air blower thing.
Well, we got the torch. There's a hot torch, and we do have a little compressed air thing. Basically, when we want to soften part of the glass, we spray fire on it. We want to stiffen part of the glass, we blow compressed air on it.
Does it ever get like soot from the flames that aren't hot enough? That
Does it get soot from the flames? No. No, it doesn't. The torches don't affect the color. People sometimes ask us if we use acetylene. We can't use acetylene because it's too smoky, and that will kind of dull the colors. But we use the big fluffy torch is is propane and air, and the more concentrated torch is propane and oxygen, and they burn pretty cleanly. So the top is always a little thick. Gabe's using those crimps to stretch it out a little bit to thin the glass out. So you want a thinner neck. So each year we design a special limited edition goblet and decanter. And we make 50 of the goblets and 35 of the decanters, and then we'll never make that design again. Can we put up some of the previous designs up on the big screen? So these are designed and made by our resident team of glassblowers, and each year it's something different. And we'll sell them at our annual fundraising dinner, the Red Hot Gala, and this year it's on September 19th.
I have to remember what our anniversary is.
Oh, yeah.
I get
better.
points. I get points for that. At least I'm not behind.
So now Gabe is taking that torch and putting some extra heat on the neck where he's going to flare it. The torches allow us to focus the heat in a particular place so that we can make just that part of the glass extra hot and soft, and we can shape that part without disturbing the rest of the object.
You make the part that you want hotter first, then you put it in there.
Yes.
You get everything warm, but that's still hotter than.
Yes, so basically the temperatures rise in tandem. So if you make this part hotter, and when you put it in the glory hole, it's still hotter, yeah. So it doesn't dissipate when we put it in the glory hole. It just, they both temperatures rise. So we're pretty much done with this decanter. Everything that we make here has to be cooled slowly or it'll break. The slow cooling process is called annealing. So we'll take the glass off the metal rod, we'll place it in the annealing oven, where it will be cooled very slowly overnight. We'll take a torch and melt the part where we broke it off so it's not sharp. And we'll take it to our annealing oven where it will be cooled very slowly overnight. So let's have a hand for the Museum of Glass Hot Shop team, Ben Cobb, Gabe Feenan, and Nick Davis. Has anybody got any questions? So if you just came in, we have sort of two basic kinds of furnaces. We have the glass furnaces, which contain the molten glass. Those are the ones with the doors closed. Can we put up the glass furnace diagram? If you look up on the big screen, that's what the furnaces look like inside. So inside each of the furnaces is a big ceramic pot. In that ceramic pot is 1,000 pounds of melted glass. We keep the melted glass at 2,100 degrees Fahrenheit, which is 1150 Celsius. And at that temperature, the glass has the consistency of honey. When we want to get the glass out to make stuff, we take one of these steel pipes and we dip it into the melted glass like you're dipping into a big jar of honey. All the colors you see while we're working are distorted by the heat. The bubble that Nick just made, Nick is the man with the shaved head, that's clear glass. The orange color you're seeing is the glow from the heat, not the color of the glass. Ben, the tall guy on the far left, is heating up a bar of blue glass, and we're going to coat that clear bubble with the blue glass. So it'll be the color of the decanter that you see on the pedestal. And when Ben gets that hot enough, he'll come out. That also will look orange, but that will be the glow from the heat, not the color of the glass. If you think about your own homes, if you have an electric stove, the burners are gray. When you turn them on to cook something, they get hot, they glow orange for a little while. Turn them off, they cool down, the orange glow disappears, and you see their true color again. That's the same thing you're seeing here with the glass. Do you guys have any questions? The glass itself is made out of three main ingredients: sand, soda ash, and lime. Sand is the bulk of it. It's mostly melted sand. The soda ash is a chemical which lowers the melting temperature of the sand, and the lime is calcium carbonate, and that stabilizes the mixture chemically. We take those three ingredients, throw them into the furnace, we cook them overnight, they all melt together and make glass. Any type of sand will make glass. The whiter the sand is, the clearer the glass will be. If you went to your average beach and you got a bucket and a pail and got some sand, that you can make glass with that, but that sand has a little bit of iron in it, and the iron will give the glass a very slight green tint, kind of similar to old Coke bottles. If you want it to be really absolutely clear, you use sand that's white, and then it'll be absolutely clear. But you could, just go to the beach, scoop up some sand, and make glass with it.
24/7. Is it more energy efficient to leave it?
Yes, well, if we turn that oven off, the glass in the thing would solidify, it would contract, and it would tear up the liner of the furnace as it contracts, and then we wouldn't be able to work the next day. So, no, we have a propane burner. That's because it's like you have that for a barbecue. It says if the main thing that would cause it to problems would be a power outage. So you wouldn't have so you want something that doesn't need any power. And the propane burners will keep it warm enough so that the furnace doesn't get damaged, but it won't be warm enough to actually work out of. Well, yeah, it'll just keep it just warm enough so that it doesn't damage the furnace. So over to the left, Gabe is dipping his bubble into our furnace. He's going to coat it with a layer of clear glass. Each time we dip the bubble into the furnace and coat it, it's called taking a gather, Gather. Gabe is shaping the bubble using a tool called a block. That scoop-shaped tool is made out of wood. It's stored in a bucket of water. As long as the wood is wet, the tool doesn't burn, and it doesn't leave any marks as he shapes the glass. Do you guys have any questions? Okay. I'll be here. So if you came in a little later, we're making that blue decanter that you see on the far pedestal. So now, Nick, seated to the left of the bench, he's the person that's blowing. He's blowing through that steel tube, the blowpipe, and inflating the glass as Gabe, sitting at the bench, shapes it. So Gabe has got prepared the bubble to go into a mold. It's a wooden mold. It's wet. He'll blow. We close the mold around it, and he turns the pipe as he's blowing, so that we don't get a partition line between the two halves of the mold. So it's smooth all the way around.
Started with the glass and it looked clear, and now it's blue. How does the coloring work?
We started out with a bubble of clear glass,
Okay.
and then we heated up a chunk of blue glass, and then we coated the initial bubble with that blue glass.
Oh, okay. I didn't notice the blue. All right.
That happened on the bench on the far
Over
left.
there. Okay.
So now we're adding the decoration, these little drip decorations. We're just taking clear glass out of the furnace, bringing it to Gabe in the center workbench. And he's dabbing it on and dragging it out.
How long have most of these artisans worked here, or how studied
Well,
glass blowing?
Gabe has been blowing glass for 31, 32 years. Ben also 31, 32. Nick, 26 years, I believe. So these guys, yes, these guys are all a little bit older than they look. They're well preserved.
If you have a piece that isn't what you want or it breaks during production, can
Right.
you put that back into the furnace to reuse that glass, or is it?
Okay, we can only, the way we're set up here, we can only recycle our clear waste. We can't recycle our colored waste because our two big furnaces where we melt the glass is all clear, and we can't throw little bits of red and blue and green in there. But we do collect our clear waste and recycle it. recycle it here, not, yeah, yeah. The glass we use is a little different than the glass that goes into bottles. The glass that goes into bottles is formulated to harden very quickly, so a machine can make 100 bottles in an hour. Our glass is formulated to harden slowly, so we can shape it by hand. So, so the next thing we're going to do is make the base for the decanter. Ben, over on the far left, has got a big blob of glass. He's going to bring it to Gabe in the center, and we're going to drop it on to make the base. So here comes Ben with the glass for the base. We're going to drop it on from above. And now Gabe and Nick are going to shape the base with the paddles. Has anybody got any questions? The colors in glass come mostly from metals dissolved in the glass when you first cook it up. Cobalt makes glass blue, chromium makes it green, tin makes it white, a little bit of gold makes it a beautiful ruby red. The next part of this process is to transfer the glass from the rod it's on now, the blowpipe, to a second steel rod called the punty, P-U-N-T-Y. The punty will hold the decanter from the bottom while we shape the top. Ben, over on the far left, is preparing the punty. He's going to bring it to Gabe, and Gabe will attach it to the bottom. So Gabe sticks the punty onto the bottom. When he feels that's centered and firm, he'll break the glass away from his pipe. He'll take his tweezers, dip them in water. He'll drip a little water where he wants the glass to break. Then he'll give the pipe a tap. There's the water. There's the tap, and off it comes. So now the decanter's held from the bottom. The top is exposed. The top can now be heated and shaped. The furnaces that hold the molten glass are 2100 degrees Fahrenheit. The glory hole, the round furnace with the door open, is 2300. Now Gabe's going to stretch out the glass at the top of the neck. It's always a little thick there, so we stretch it out, and then we'll take a pair of shears and trim that thick glass away. When the glass is hot, you can cut it with a scissors. Looks like he's going to trim it again. Widening that neck. The tool in Gabe's hand is called the jacks. Gabe is the man sitting at the workbench. flare the top, make a little flange. So now the decanter is pretty much done. Everything that we make here has to be cooled slowly or it'll break. So we're going to take it off the metal rod. We're going to place it in an oven called the annealer where it'll be cooled slowly overnight. The annealer is an electric oven. It has a little computerized thermostat. So we keep it at a constant temperature all day long. We place all the objects we make during the day in there. And then at night, it's programmed to slowly turn the temperature down to room temperature overnight. The thicker something is, the longer we take to cool it. For most of the things that we make here, it's just an overnight process. Sometimes we make thick sculptures, and then we have to cool them over longer periods of time. Put a little water on the joint between the punty and the decanter itself. The water will crack that joint. And then just a light tap on the metal pipe, and off it should come. We'll take a torch and melt the spot where we broke it off so it's not sharp. And then into our annealing oven where it'll be cooled very slowly. Oh! Oh! Glad, you never know. Luckily, we have a couple of 1,000 pounds of glass, so we'll just make another one. You got it. Glass breaks, so you got to just roll with it. Happens to the best of us. So we'll just. What? It slipped out of the grabbing. You have it grab well.
That's disappointing for them. But they're used to it, I'm sure. I'm sure they're used to it.
Just gotta roll with it. You can't deal with disappointment. Glass is not the art form.
Well, I like the recycling aspect of it. You can always start over. You can always reuse parts of it.
So if these guys have been blowing glass for 20 and 30 years, they started pretty young.
Yep. Ben, the tall guy, he started as a teenager. Gabe started when he was his early 20s. Gabe's 53.
Okay.
He doesn't look it.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Do you do glass 6 days a week, 7 days a week? Maybe the museum's
5
closed
days a week.
5 days a week. Okay.
He's only open at 5. He used to be open 7 in the summer, but money and all this stuff.
Yeah.
Or open at 5.
Right.
There's always someone to deal working.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So they had some of those like the kid designed elements that were out on display. Like for something like that, how long does that take generally to make? Is that still a day project or?
2.5 hours to make each one.
Oh wow. Okay.
They're actually some of the most complicated things that we make.
Yeah.
They look good. Yeah, they're amazing.
Yeah.
Like the artists.
And the trick is you want to make it so it looks really nice, but you don't want to clean it up so much it doesn't look like a kid.
Right.
You want to try to preserve the kidness of it.
Yes, yeah.
They're
That's the
so
hard part.
whimsical
Yeah.
and amazing.
What are so a lot of that? So like you used a mold or a form, I guess, not a mold,
Mold.
to be able to get the right shape, right? So a lot of that stuff.
There's no molds involved with that. Those are all done.
Yeah. So all those are all freehand.
hand.
So like, is there certain shapes of glass that are more complicated to make?
Yeah, it more depends on, say, if you're going to make a lot of the same thing.
Okay.
Those are all one-off.
Yeah.
So too expensive and labor intensive to make molds for each one.
Any of those.
Yeah.
So those are all done freehand. We're going to make 35 of these decanters, so it's worthwhile to
Yeah, yeah. But like there was like square shapes, like that were like the body or of something like. Yeah. Is that type of shape more challenging?
Yes, it's not the shape that glass makes naturally.
Yeah.
So you got to work at it a little bit. Yeah. Yeah, well, it's a hot oven. We keep it at constant temperature all day long, and then it has a little computerized thermostat that slowly turns it down. So we don't cool it exactly. We just basically turn the temperature down slowly.
So how it fell? He was almost going to.
It just wasn't. It wasn't situated firmly in those grasper things. Yeah, well, it happens. Things happen. You just got it. We got it. We just make another one. If see, that's why you wouldn't be. That's why we're not going to hire you as a glass blower. You just gotta. That's it. He's got it. We'll hire him, but not you.
Okay, what about those on the bridge? There are all those colored
Yes.
vases. They are made here or
No, that's a different artist. It's an artist named Dale Chihuly, very famous artist, and that was commissioned by the city when this first building was being built and when the bridge was being built. So that's it. Yeah. But he's like a very well-known, famous artist.
so this is very similar what you find in Murano. It's the same kind of glass.
Very similar to what you find in Murano. It started in 1979. A number of Murano masters came here to the Northwest and began teaching the young Americans. And so that's why we blow glass in a very similar manner that they do.
So in what year you said they came here?
It's 1970, it started in 1979, but they came here through the 80s and 90s. Different masters.
Because that's what I thought. It looks very similar.
It is.
Murano making it.
Yes, that's basically the people that we learned from. So that's why it looks similar.
So the decanters they're making, are those commission pieces? You sell
No, these are the goblets and the decanters are a limited edition for our annual fundraising dinner. We make 50 of the goblets, 35 of the decanters, and we only sell them at our annual fundraising dinner. So then we'll never make that design again. Can we put up some of the old designs up on the big screen? So each year it's something different. It's designed and made by our resident team of glass blowers. Oh, they come up with designs and they talk with the people upstairs and eventually decide on one of them. Thanks for coming in, guy. So each year it's something completely different. So this year our fundraising dinner, the Red Hot Gala, will be on September 19th. We have yep, homemade, fresh from the oven. We did. We made a bunch of them yesterday. That's, I think, the ones we made yesterday were on that.
Oh, you made them yesterday, the goblets? Oh. Are you going to make any goblets today?
Nope.
Okay. It's
We
one
made-
or the other.
Yeah. We just once we get into a groove, we just kind of continue with it. But yesterday we were making goblets. Today we're making the decanters. rest for the wicked.
Thank you so much.
Oh, you're welcome. Does anybody have any questions? We're making these decanters that you see. The decanter? The decanter, that blue decanter? It's not super thin, but regular. We have a annual fundraising dinner and art auction to raise money for the museum. We're a private nonprofit, and each year we design a decanter and a matching goblet, and we sell them only at our fundraiser. So I believe we're going to make stoppers for these decanters that'll have the seahorse on them. What? I don't. Maybe I don't know what they're planning to do. But yes, I know they would to make them fit. Yeah. So we're blowing the bubble into a wooden mold. It's a wet wooden mold. You can see the steam coming off it. We blow, and then we have to turn the bubble as well so that we don't get partition marks around the two where the two sides meet. Oh, a mold like that's probably good for a couple of hundred. We keep them wet, so as long as they're wet, they don't burn very much. Yeah, a little bit. I mean, you know, when we're going to make something industrial and you make thousands of them, then they use cast iron molds. Could you turn the light out on that? Yes. You can take pictures, that's fine. Just, anybody wants to take pictures, knock yourselves out. Over on the workbench on the right, we have our hands-on glass-blowing experience. Some young artists from the Hilltop Artist Program in the Tacoma Public Schools are walking our visitors through trying glass blowing. We do it by appointment. You can sign up for it. I think we're all full up today, but you can sign up for another day, a different weekend, and they'll walk you through making a simple object. Today they're making floats, but sometimes they make birds or what else? Pumpkins. Usually it's something seasonal. So if you ever wanted to try glass blowing, you can do that here. Each time we add a little dollop of molten glass, it's called bringing a bit, B-I-T. No, the seahorses are done. They're done freehand. We have a little video. Would you like to see how that's done? Could we play the pony video? So it's all got to be done in one heat. The person in the video who's making the horses is Nick, the guy with the shaved head. Nick Davis. Yeah.
If a glass piece is broken, like a screen cut, is it possible to put it together?
It's possible. I mean, you certainly could glue it. It's possible, yeah. So that's how you make. So we're trimming up the base of the decanter. What? Cat? You could make a. We're not going to make a cat out of glass. You could, but we're not going to do that right now. We have other things to do. The next part of this process is to transfer the decanter from the rod it's on now, the blowpipe, to a second steel rod called the punty. The second steel rod will hold the decanter from the bottom while we shape the top. Do you guys have any questions? Do you have any questions?
Yeah, the whole thing is amazing, sir.
Oh, good. So now, Ben, standing up, is going to bring the punty, the second steel rod, to Gabe. Gabe will attach it to the bottom of the decanter. When he feels that connection is firm, we'll break the glass away from Gabe's pipe. He'll take his tweezers, dip them in water. He'll drip a little water where he wants it to break. Here he goes. There's the water. Give it a tap, and off it comes. So now the decanter is held from the bottom. The top is exposed. The top can now be heated and shaped. No, you can try. You have to make appointments at the front desk. I think we're all full up for today. But you can You can make an appointment for another weekend. Can we play the pony video again?
But it's often to see famous blowers here.
So just for your FYI, the man in the video making the horse is Nick Davis, the man holding the paddle at the center of the workshop.
How do they get the different colors in the glass?
The colors in glass come mostly from metals dissolved in the glass when you first cook it up from scratch. Cobalt makes it blue, chromium makes it green, a little bit of gold makes it a beautiful ruby red. Well, how is this different from crystal blowing? It's exactly the same. Crystal is just a different type of glass. It's a glass which contains 25 to 35% lead, but the process is entirely the same. Yes. It's amazing, but that's true. If you're here with kids, we have a special contest for kids. Any kid 12 or younger, not older, younger, can do a drawing. Once a month, we pick one of the drawings and we make whatever the kid drew out of glass. We make 2 copies, one for the kid to take home and one for the museum collection. It's free to enter. There's a table out in the lobby with drawing materials and entry forms. It doesn't cost anything. And if we pick your drawing, then we'll call you up. You can bring the whole family down, and we'll make it right in front of you. We have a small exhibit out in the lobby of some of the things that we made from the kids' drawings. So now Gabe is going to flare the top of the decanter. The tool in his hand is called the jacks. And Ben, standing up, is holding a wooden paddle across the top to make sure it's nice and flat and straight. Everything that we make here has to be cooled slowly or it'll break. So we're going to take the decanter off the metal rod. We're going to place it in an oven called the annealer where it'll be cooled slowly overnight. If we didn't do that, if we just put this on the table and walked away, it would cool too quickly and unevenly and it would break. You can see Nick over on the far right putting on some protective clothing. He's going to carry the finished decanter to our annealing oven. The gloves that he's wearing are made out of Kevlar. Kevlar is a fire-resistant insulating material. It's what firemen wear when they go into a burning building. When he grabs that decanter, it'll be approximately 1,000 degrees. At that temperature, the glass will be hard, and we'll put it in the annealer to cool very slowly overnight. We'll take a torch and melt the little spot where we broke it off so it's not sharp. And over to our annealing oven, where it'll be cooled slowly overnight. So let's have a hand for the Museum of Glass Hot Shop team, Ben Cobb, Nick Davis, and Gabe Phoenix. Does anybody have any questions? Are you guys going to make a drawing? It's a low table right in the middle of the lobby.
What on the Tacoma Narrows Bridge?
Hi, how are you guys? Good, how are you? I'm good. Good. Do you guys have any questions? Anything you'd like to know?
No, you guys have way more safety stuff than the places I've seen in Mexico. So.
That's probably true. We have a very good safety record. We have one trip to the emergency room in 24 years.
Oh, that's not bad. Yeah, it was kind of funny when I went down there and watched them. There's like 8 guys running on one furnace.
Right.
They're all there in t-shirts and shorts.
Well, these guys are t-shirts and
I
shorts.
know, but they're moving the glass in t-shirts and shorts.
Right.
Work clothes. And they were moving the glass with them. It's gotta be work.
Hey,
They've been doing it for a few years though, because the guy who's working for us wasn't a young puppy.
no.
But it's pretty cool. It was awesome to get the step by step.
Good.
The first step was
Yeah. Takes a little practice to do that.
I'm guessing because if I did it for a little pig like something, I wouldn't even be able to sell it.
It's a fun thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, we work 10 to 1 and 2 to 5. We don't really have shows. We just make stuff through in the morning and then make stuff in the afternoon. We have visiting artists come from all over the world.
What do you guys use to keep these furnaces going at home?
Natural gas.
Is it natural gas?
Mhm.
Cool.
There are electric furnaces, but we don't have one.
Yeah, but unless you had solar all over the building, that would be expensive.
Well, it's not really not that expensive. Sometimes it's cheaper because when you have we play the kids' design video?
Like art through the ages, glass has always been sort of made by designer and maker. And so to highlight that relationship, we created Kids Design Glass, where kids age 12 and under can make a drawing and submit it to us. We'll make 2 pieces, give one to the family, and we'll keep one to put in our collection and build the exhibition that has been Kids Design Glass.
We get a huge stack of drawings and we sift through them to pick the ones that we can make and the ones that are interesting.
200-300 drawings a month, so we get a stack of drawings.
We go through each one. It's a drawing and a story about the drawing.
Probably the most unique drawings are the ones that really stick out. The ones that aren't like based on a character that they've already seen. The ones that come straight from their imagination.
Usually kids by that age, they're not really tainted by like pop culture and outside influences. They kind of like what they like.
My original idea for the rainbow marshmallow, when the marshmallow melts, what comes out are their tears. And this one cries rainbows. Like the inside is all rainbow. It was the first time that I was like kind of made contact into like the glass blowing world. And what was really fun about it was knowing that a piece that I've come up with that is like part of my self-expression was like interesting enough for others to like incorporate it into the real world.
Being in a creative environment, I think that builds self-esteem, and the fact that they're going to have this thing that they're going to have the rest of their lives of something that they had as a child, and then knowing that they're actually like in a museum collection, which is pretty incredible when you're under 12 years old.
If any other kids are entering the program, then I'd say I really hope that your art gets chosen. It is really mesmerizing to see the details being put on. I was just very happy that the Hot Shop team actually chose my art. Who knows, maybe if you're timing it just right, you could actually get up there when your art is like being displayed up there.
For 20 years, we've made some wild things. It's so free, and I would say loose, but what we really pay attention to is making sure that we're capturing all the details.
There's so many challenges in making the kids' design drawings, and I think that's something that maybe the average viewer wouldn't notice.
A lot of these objects are very fragile and are just different than any of the other glass I usually work on.
The way the kids draw them, they just have no idea of what, you know, glass can do, so they just draw it however their mind imagines this object.
We're talking with them, making sure that we're seeing the color the same way, making sure that, you know, the eyes are on one side or are they supposed to be on both sides.
Appendages and weird helmets, they're all great challenges and things that we wouldn't necessarily run into without this program. I think it's inspiring for us as glassmakers, and I hope it's inspiring for the kids doing the drawings. I hope the kids kind of see that their creativity is this muscle that they need to exercise.
One of the best parts about the program is seeing the kid in the front row giving us tips on how we can make it better or things they don't like that we're doing. They have a voice here.
I designed the lion crab in 2011. Just recently, we went back to the museum, and seeing my piece on display at the museum was just incredible.
I mean, we have times where people come in the crowd and some young adult, you know, in their 20s or early 30s, is like, hey, you made my kids design glass, and they bring out their phone and show us a picture, and it's them like 10 years old, and you know, it's to see the impact that we've made. I think every single one is special.
So if you came in a little later, we're making these decanters that you see on the pedestal. We've just blown the glass into a wooden mold to get the general shape, and now we're about to add the decorations.
What's the temperature in there?
2,300 degrees Fahrenheit.
What happened on the floor over there? Was it?
Oh, we tried out the mold, made one, but up to our standard.
Oh. Got it. Do you reuse that glass as well?
You can only recycle our clear glass. You can't recycle our color.
What happens if you try to recycle color glass?
Well, the furnaces where we melt the glass, those are all full of clear glass. We can't throw red and blue and green in there. That would muck it up. Hi, how are you guys? Good. Do you guys have any questions? No. Do you know about our contest for kids? Any kid 12 or younger can do a drawing. Once a month, we pick one of the drawings and make whatever the kid drew out of glass. We'll make 2 copies, one for the kid to take home and one for the museum collection. It's free to enter. There's a table out in the lobby with drawing materials and entry forms. And if the kids aren't inspired at the moment, you can grab one of the entry forms one for each kid. They can do the drawings at home, and you could either mail them in or drop them off. Yeah, whenever you want. It doesn't cost anything. What? To give them to the, well, there's a box on the table. You'll see it where we put the drawings in. So you got to do the drawing, and you also got to fill out an entry form so we can contact you if you win. So if you do win, we'll call you up. We'll tell you when we're going to make it, and you can bring the whole family down, and we'll make it right in front of you. You're welcome. So we're shaping the base. The base is solid clear glass. We're using those paddles to shape the base. Once that's squared away, we're going to transfer the decanter from the rod it's on now to a second steel rod called the punty, P-U-N-T-Y. The punty will hold the decanter from the bottom while we shape the top. It's not black, it's clear. It's just reflecting something. Yeah, no, it's just plain clear glass. So now Ben is coming over with the punty, the second steel rod that's going to hold it temporarily. Gabe, sitting at the bench, is going to attach it. Hot glass sticks to hot glass. And then we're going to break the glass away from Gabe's pipe. We'll take the tweezers, dip them in water, drip a little water where we want it to break, give the pipe a tap, and off it comes. So now it's held from the bottom, the top is exposed, the top can now be heated and shaped. You guys have any questions? Say that again? Don't worry about it. No. I think the number is a lot.
You must have different temperatures of the torches. You have several different torches.
We have, yes, we have what we call the fluffy torch. That's the torch that's on pilot sitting in the rack. It's not as hot, but it heats a broader area. And then the torch that's off, that's hooked up there, that's a propane and oxygen torch. It's much hotter, but it covers a very small area. And then we also have MAP gas that we heated up. Yeah. These folks that are working the glass are our Museum of Glass Hot Shop team. They're employees of the museum. They're super skilled glass blowers. Gabe and Ben are 30 years plus. Nick, I think, is about 26 years. They can make just about anything you can imagine. These guys are also artists in their own right. They have their own artist career outside of the museum. Can we put up some of Gabe's artwork? Gabe is the man leading the team today. Gabe Feenan, Feenan. So if you look up on the big screen, this is his personal artwork. Today he's working for the museum. He's not making his own work. So these guys are all extremely talented. And now Gabe's going to flare the top of the decanter, make a little flange at the top. Yes. No, he uses this studio when the museum's closed. Mm-hmm. I don't think so. Not. I mean, the only thing, he has stuff that he's made for the shop for sale, but not his own artwork. He's represented by the Vetri Gallery in Seattle. Exactly. Do we have stuff in this store? Oh, okay. My mistake. There are some Gabe Feenans in the store. He didn't use to. We're almost done. Everything that we make has to be cooled slowly or it'll break. The slow cooling process is called annealing. We keep one of these big ovens at a constant temperature all day long. For this glass, it's 890 degrees. We place all the objects we make during the day in there, and then at night, the oven has a little computerized thermostat that slowly turns the temperature down to room temperature. If we didn't do that, if we just put it on the table and let it cool on its own, it would cool too quickly and unevenly, and it would break. Nick, in the green jacket, is going to carry the finished decanter to our annealing oven. He's wearing Kevlar gloves. Kevlar is a fire-resistant insulating material. When he grabs that decanter, it'll be about 1,000 degrees. At that temperature, the glass will be hard. It'll no longer change shape. We'll take it off the metal rod. We'll melt the little spot where we broke it off so it's not sharp. And into the annealing oven to cool slowly overnight. So let's have a big hand for the Museum of Glass Hot Shop team, Gabe Feenan, Nick Davis, and Ben Ka. Has anybody got any questions? Particular decanters are for our annual fundraiser. We're not going to sell them in the store. But the store does have a bunch of things that we've made. So, yeah. Oh, okay. Well, I mean, it's going to look just like the one on the pedestal. This was made on another day. And it's going to have a stopper with one of these. You're welcome. How you doing, Yale? So over on the workbench on the left, we're starting the next decanter. Nick, who's sitting down at the workbench, has blown a bubble of clear glass. Ben, standing up, is heating up a bar of blue glass. And we're going to coat Nick's bubble with the blue glass. This is called a color overlay. We drop a blob of that blue glass on top of Nick's bubble, and then Nick is going to roll it back till it entirely coats the original bubble.
Dragons on the dragon stopper. So, yeah, we'll still make a little plug for it. Just sit on top.
Are you doing a kit design?
No, Alex Kane will be here tomorrow. Kristen's getting married this weekend, so don't miss her name on that. So Alex will be here with a crew working. Are you working tomorrow? No.
Curious.
Yeah.
Good towards the end of the month.
Oh yeah, we don't often do it during the summer. It's the beginning of the month. It's August.
So over to the left, Gabe is letting that bubble cool and stiffen a bit, and we're going to coat it with another layer of clear molten glass. Behind that door, there's a big ceramic tank. In that ceramic tank is 1,000 pounds of melted glass. The glass that we just added is clear glass. We coated the initial bubble with blue. When we blow it out, it's going to look like this. Do you guys have any questions? Nope. In the center, Gabe is shaping that bubble using a tool called the block. It's a scoop-shaped tool. It's made out of wood. It's stored in a bucket of water. As long as the wood is wet, the tool doesn't burn, and it doesn't leave any marks as we shape the glass. Nick, seated to the left of the workbench, is blowing. He blows through that steel tube, the blowpipe, as Gabe, sitting at the workbench, shapes it. For this decanter, we're using a wooden mold. So we've got to make the bubble a sort of similar shape, then close the mold around it, and blow, and turn the pipe at the same time, so that we don't get any parting lines between the two halves of the mold. The entire surface is smooth. So now we're going to add the decorations. That's clear glass. We'll dab it on and stretch it out to make these drip-like decorations. Does anybody have any questions? Can we put up how hot is it? So if you look up on the big screen, we have the temperatures of the various pieces of equipment. The numbers in white are Fahrenheit numbers. The numbers in orange are Celsius numbers. So the next part of this process is to transfer our decanter from the rod it's on now to a second steel rod called the punty, P-U-N-T-Y. The punty will hold the decanter from the bottom while we shape the top. Hi, how are you guys? Hi. You guys have any? Now Ben's coming over with the punty. Ben's a tall guy, black shirt, gray shorts. He's going to bring the punty to Gabe. Gabe is the man sitting at the workbench, Gabe Feenan. We'll attach the punty to the bottom of the decanter, and that's going to hold it temporarily while we shape the top. Once that bond is firm enough, we'll break the glass away from the original pipe and leave it stuck to the punty. In order to break it away, we'll drip some water where we want it to break, give the pipe a tap, and off it comes. So now it's held from the bottom, the top is exposed, the top can now be heated and shaped. The round oven with the door open is 2,300 degrees Fahrenheit, which is 1250 Celsius. And the glass furnace where we keep the molten glass is 2,100 degrees Fahrenheit, which is 1150 Celsius. Well, 2,100 degrees is about as hot as the hottest volcano. So having a glass furnace is kind of like having your own private volcano. So we're going to stretch out the glass at the top of the decanter to make it thinner. He grabs it with those crimps and pulls. That thins the glass out at the top. And we'll heat it up again and then take a pair of shears and trim off the funky part. Only recycle our clear waste. We can't recycle our color.
Right,
There's a big furnace where we melt it. It's all clear. We can't throw red and blue.
Okay, okay.
But if we have clear waste, then we can save that and put it back.
Sure.
I didn't get the reason why you cannot reuse it. Because it's color, and the big furnace where we melt the glass, this one right here, it's all clear glass. So we can't throw blue in there or green. It'll mess it up.
Clear. So do you use minerals to make the color? How do you get the red? Is
The
it from
colored
iron
glass comes
also?
mostly from metals
Yes.
dissolved in the glass.
Yes.
Most of the colors are metals.
Yes.
We buy our colored glass
Okay.
from two companies in Germany.
Right.
They cook it up from scratch. And like cobalt makes glass blue, chromium makes it green, a little bit of gold makes glass pretty red. Copper, you cook it one way, it turns turquoise. You cook it a different way, it turns blood red.
Really? Oh, that's interesting.
Are these guys, do they make their, I mean, is this all they do, or are they artists and they make some?
They're artists in their own right, but today they're working for the museum. This is their day job.
Okay, and then they do something else. My brother's an artist, so then they do something else
Yes.
in the evening with glass.
Yes.
I asked the question, the hardest rock, which is the hardest rock that you can be able to use here and turn it into like lava?
Oh, the main ingredient in the glass is sand.
Yes.
Silica.
Silica.
Yes.
We call it
SiO2.
sand.
Yeah.
Silicate for fancy people. We call it
But sand is not quartz. Suppose the hard rock.
It is quartz.
Oh, it is quartz.
Yes, tiny pieces of quartz.
Oh, wow.
Mostly.
And they don't wear gloves or anything.
They do when they're uncomfortable. When we make bigger things, they're generating a lot more heat. Then they'll put on a glove if they start to feel uncomfortable.
So we came in late. What are they actually making? These
We're making the decanters that you see on the pedestal. Oh. Each of these things are running about a half hour, I would say. A half an hour and 25 years. 25 years to learn how to do it, and a half hour to make it. It's got to cool off slowly, otherwise it'll break. Overnight. We purposely cool it very slowly. So it's an electric oven, and it's got a little automated thermostat that slowly turns the temperature down to room temperature overnight. But if we just made that and put it on the table, it would cool too quickly and it would break. Okay. So that concludes our demonstrations for this morning. We're going to take an hour lunch. We'll be back at 2, making more stuff. If anybody has any questions before I go to lunch, I'd be happy to answer them. I think we're going to just make those decanters all day. We got to make 35 of them. Okay. Sorry, you guys got cut short. Yeah. Okay. Oh, you're welcome. Thanks for coming in, guys.